So hello everyone. Today is a very special episode, and today we have with us Bijay Shah, the National Director of BNI UAE, along with Amit Vardhan, who is the Executive Director for North Dubai, as well as Pankaj Gupta from our Deira Dubai region. So welcome everybody.
Thank you, Raki.
Thank you, Raki.
So it's still the beginning of the year, and we're going to start asking a couple of questions to these gentlemen, starting from Bijay. Bijay, what are you celebrating from last year, and any key milestones that you can tell us about?
Thank you, Raki. Fantastic to be here. What are we celebrating from last year? So I think officially the pandemic has not been declared over yet, and I guess it's going to be a while before that happens. But overall, I think things have eased up. And towards the end of last year, one of the biggest celebrations we had was that we were able to finally go back to in-person meetings. So that was a big, I think, moment. Having said that, there are a few chapters who chose to stay online for the right reasons, and I'll be sharing more about that later. But yeah, going back to in-person, the pandemic seems to be coming towards the end, or at least we are at much more peace and comfort right now, the way things are, and I think that's very positive overall. But despite that, the last 2 years, as challenging as they've been, when it comes to the numbers, so business, referrals, and even overall members for the organization have been on the rise. And I think that's probably the biggest celebration that I can share, that despite all the challenges, we learned a lot of things, and business and membership grew, not just only for BNI, but our members as well. They did more referrals and more business between themselves.
Absolutely, that's amazing. How about yourself, Pankaj? Can you share some more information about your region as well with us?
So Raki, as you rightly know, I got into this executive director role right amid 2020. And we just started. 2021 had been a year where we can say we can count on what we did and what happened out there. I'm definitely celebrating the gala dinner, which we were able to do for our region. It was a regional gala dinner, a lot of awards, a lot of celebrations. We did a growth of approximately 200%. So we started our journey with some 80, 90 members, and we were around 180 members at end of 2021. And that was definitely a phenomenal journey. That's towards the number. But about personally, I would say I felt a lot of support and growth in my, myself. I always say, growing yourself and growing the business, both are important. So I am celebrating the way I can look into people now. I have my own team of chapter directors, ambassadors, the leaders, and it is overwhelming. I'm definitely celebrating the way it could happen, the way all of your blessings and support have made it possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Pankaj. And last but not the least, Amit, our newest executive director on board. What are you celebrating from last year?
Just finished 6 months, and we are somewhere where Pankaj started, a bit lower. North Dubai region, I started with almost like 60 members and 2 chapters. Today, we have a 3rd chapter in place and a 4th chapter going. So that has been some good news. We're looking forward to grow at least by the year end to 200 members. That's expectation. We would work towards that and at least have 5 chapters in the region of North Dubai. We have a lot of potential there. I also celebrate the seat values of our chapter being small chapters. They're doing very well. Even the smallest chapter in the first year did around 12 million dirhams of business. So that is good news for us. And the business is growing. And I now look forward to our new slogan, BNI Better Together, where we are trying to grow together. And this year's focus is growth for every member, business for every member. And that's what I would look forward towards. As we grow members, the growth of the members would be my key outlook for the next year. Each member should go in their business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Growth is so very important. And going back to Pankaj, tell us what exactly has been working for you and your chapters. You guys have grown tremendously the whole year. I've seen that. So share some secrets with us and tell us how it's been happening.
Raki, I will split this in two parts. What is working for me is definitely that I have been able to learn how not to take charge in all the situations. Really, leave it up to the team and let them take their decisions, empower the team. Because once I empower the team, only then they become true leaders. And then we get benefits of their leadership. Otherwise, though it is visible as so many people in the room taking the lead, but being led by one person doesn't help. So that's something which really is working out for me. For chapters and the region, I would say I felt a sense of abundance mindset which has developed over the period, and that is somewhere where growth starts happening. When members does not think that another member who will come will share some part of the cookie they are eating, right? Rather, they think that together we can be better. And believe me, when this slogan came, I got my answer that what is happening in the region. I looked deep dive and it was found that it is nothing but the abundance mindset. And that's been helping tremendously. Their encouragement. And it is a human nature. When you try to achieve something and you start getting some success, it encourages you to go beyond and beyond and beyond. Uh, I'm not personally very follower of the titles like I'm the largest chapter. So I am largest today, but tomorrow can be somebody else. Tomorrow can be somebody else. Now my point is for this year, what can we do which has never been done in UAE, at least in UAE? And if we do that as first, we always remain in those golden words, right? Because I want to do something first. That is what I am working on. This is a little secret, but it will come up soon, right? That's what I'm working on.
Amazing. That's an amazing goal you've set. And again, working together as a team and holding each other accountable is so very rightly said. How about yourself, Bijay? What would you like to share in terms of what's working for you and the remaining chapters out here in the region?
Yeah, the biggest thing that we've been able to accomplish, and I think what's now sort of setting pace is the fact that we have successfully franchised a couple of regions. So we've been operating for the last 17 years, and it was only in the last few years that we said, you know what, to scale up, we actually do need to identify more people who can actually take an active role, not just as leadership or director consultants, but actually provide an opportunity for members to take this as a business from which they can benefit from, and creating that mindset of abundance. Everybody wins. So 2 years ago we were able to get Pankaj on board as our first executive director. Last year, we were able to get Amit on board, and both of these gentlemen are very experienced. They have BNI in their blood. So really proud to have both of them. And the growth that we've seen is mainly attributable to that, both of them. And then, of course, looking forward, we do have more regions to franchise out. And I believe that's one of the main ways in which we can grow. So franchising is definitely working for us. And I look forward to doing more of that and really working closely with both Amit and Pankaj. Because this is still the beginning for us, what are we learning from this journey and how we can actually make that better? But scaling up is the way forward for us and for our members.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, Amit, I know you just joined 6 months ago. You already mentioned your team members are about 60 so far, and you're still growing. So what has been working for you and all your chapters in your region?
We started with 60, Raki. Now we are at around 80 members, and we're putting together one more chapter. What BJ did is what I learned from BJ is to one, recruit the right mindset, retain the right kind of people. And the third thing is train them to be there. I'm seeing that these three things are going to help us not only grow, but grow stronger together. While we're saying better together, I would say stronger together, because if we have the people, we first recruit the right kind of people who have the mindset, as we've been talking about collaboration, abundance. If we have these people with this kind of mindset, we need to train our leadership teams to get those people and then to retain them, to see that they get the commitment which has been promised by BNI. While they are committing to something, BNI commits them, and the leadership team and the DNAs of the region, and I would say for the nation, would be trained to deliver to the expectations of our members, because we are the people who are leading them, and we should lead them in a right way. So definitely recruit, retain, and then train them. Yeah, all of them do not come with the same kind of knowledge, the same kind of expertise. We have people from all kinds of fields, which is the nice part and which is the good part, and which is the thing about BNI, that we have people from garage owners to restaurant owners to chartered accountants to doctors, and they're people coming from different mindsets. And you realize that all of them have different kind of capabilities. When you put a doctor into a position, he is not a marketing or salesperson, whereas if you put an advertising person, he behaves differently in that scenario. So we have to recruit, retain, and train them to all become the ambassadors and spokespeople of BNI. So that is what's working. Recently, what we are doing with some chapters, at times we are in one of the chapters, I've downsized to get this corrected.
Absolutely. Having the right type of members is so very important. Pankaj, you've been in the executive director position now for almost 2 years. What have your key learnings been from the last year that you could share with the audience out here?
Raki, for me, as I said, for me, the main important thing which I learned last year is, let the leaders take their decisions. Grow leaders, nurture leaders, be in their support. And very recently, this happened so that I was being taught by someone that there are 4 kind of situational leadership I can be into. So there can be a directional leadership, a very new leader I have, and they need direction. But then there can be something which needs just coaching and mentoring kind of stuff. Then there can be a third stage where they just need you to be standing in their support. They know how to do it. You need not to just treat them like school kids or give them directions. And finally, there can be your team members who just need delegation. You delegate to them and forget it. They can do it, right? So this had been the most important learning I received in last year. Now I choose and try to analyze what kind of leadership do they need from me. And I try to give them what is required for them and not whatever, one size fits all was not working. And this has been a tremendous learning personally. As a matter of fact, in this year to come, my focus is on to make some plans on working on the coaching of my leaders. And it will not limit only to director consultants or ambassadors, but to chapter leaders. So that's a plan I have in mind to bring something like mindfulness. I have recently been exposed, BJ, with this look inside yourself. It's from Google. It's a mindfulness coaching program which Google does. And myself and Shelly attended a very small session of that recently. And I've been thinking, how can I bring that to help all other members? A company like Google invented this and give it to their team members, their leaders. Why can't we do something like that for our leaders? Help them be at peace and still grow, right? No need to be on your toes and always be in panic and anxiety. That's what my vision is.
That's a very good way to put it out, Pankaj. If you help yourselves, then you'll be able to help the others around you. Wonderfully put. What about yourself, Bijay? What have your key learnings been from the last year?
The biggest learning really came when that decision had to be made, to go back in person on new for the whole organization, not just locally but globally. And the approach we took globally was to kind of put it out on vote, offer the members the choice. We now have 3 different formats. Um, and it's a good thing that the pandemic taught us that we can do things online. So we were able to offer different formats now to members. But when we put it out to vote, it was important that the right decision was made, and the criteria that we put there for a chapter to go in a certain direction, all the chapters were meeting online, and now they had a choice either to remain online or go back to in person, or even choose what we call a hybrid format.
Mhm.
But we required them to have a 80%, 85% majority. That's a pretty high bar. Um, and in the course, we learned that the first round of voting in many chapters, they achieved 70%. So it was still a majority, but it was not at 85%. And what it meant is the 30% who chose to want to remain online, at least for the time being at that time, they were holding the chapter back. And after a couple of months, we did a second round. And in most of these chapters, they managed to get the 85% that they needed. And they went back in person successfully. But there were some chapters where, they just could not get that 85%. And as much as, that's what we were looking for, what it meant was that minority of the 15% were the ones actually making the decision. So that doesn't really make sense democratically, right?
Mhm.
So we reviewed that, and we said, okay, let's just do a general kind of vote to see. And it was split, not exactly 50-50, but it was more or less, 55-45. And the question was, how long do you wait for? And then we learned from other countries, other regions, because they had a similar experience. And actually, if we were to have done this again, we probably would not have done that approach. The better approach might have been really to involve the leaders in these chapters, involve our DNA team, of course, involve ourselves, and then really make an executive decision for each chapter. We have no hidden agenda that chapters should go back in person, or chapters should stay online, or chapters should go hybrid. We want to do what's best in the interest of all the members. But the most important thing was what's best in the interest of all the members as far as business goes. And it just happened sadly that in a couple of chapters, the focus of the members went more towards the format as opposed to why are we all here. At the end of the day, the relationships have been built to do business with each other and to refer. And now everybody was to what is a safer way to do it. There is no safer way to do this. I think it's about understanding, adapting, and really, embracing the change and the new normal. And had the members been focused on that, they would have made a decision which kept them together. Unfortunately, the learning for us, or rather, first, the price we ended up paying was in a couple of chapters. The chapters kind of split up or fractured, and they lost a lot of members, unfortunately. But the learning was the people who are still focused on doing business stayed on. We do hope that the people who kind of split away are able to come back and choose a format that works best for them and really utilize the benefits of BNI. But the biggest learning for us is, not everything can be done by vote. It's not always the best decision. Sometimes leadership needs to be exercised. And you end up making decisions which may sometimes make people unhappy, but it's not about making people happy or not. It's about doing the right thing at the right time. At that time, you of course you will get people who don't feel right about it, and they'll curse you. But in the long term, when you look back, they'll probably thank you and saying, "Yeah, that was the right decision." So these are learnings that we've had. We are living in unprecedented times, And let's hope now that this is all over and behind us, and we can get back to focus this year. And again, as you can see, the theme is better together. We've gone through so much just in the last 2 years. What can we do, as Amit put it, to really focus on being better together, staying together, focusing on our relationships, and doing business and helping each other?
Absolutely. And I think one of the very good outcomes which came out from the last year was these 3 different formats of the meeting that people can actually choose from, whether they want to be online or they want to go back into an in-person meeting, or then choose hybrid, which again, I feel the UAE region has all chapters for in different sort of formats. So it makes it easier choice for members to choose which one they want to really go in for, and they feel comfortable with that. But that's great, sharing that with us. In terms of the vision, which is in the beginning of the year, it's still February. Pankaj, tell us, what has been your vision? What are you looking forward to, apart from the coaching that you shared with us and a lot of training that you have in mind for the region? Anything else you would like to share in terms of a vision that you've set forward for this year for everyone?
Oh, Raki, first of all, I'd like to talk about the vision for BNI Synergy. As we understand, this chapter has grown up with a great speed.
Yes.
So I have been continuously in discussion with them that how to retain members, how to have all these new members renew, how to have all these new members feel the benefit. And we had always gone in a formula of telling the new member what you need to do to get the business, what you need to do to feel the value of BNI. I am going other way around. I have told the core member team, the members who started all this thing and the leaders, that why can't we take the responsibility to at least have them taste the benefit of BNI, right? Once they have tasted, and then we guide them how to get it more is okay. But they have not yet tasted that. They just came to your meeting, they liked it, they joined you. So why don't we take the first step? And that change, I am quite hopeful, is going to maintain that highest retention for this particular chapter. So that's one winning on that side. So that's one particular chapter because it's a sizable and it's challenging job to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the entire region, so I am definitely not pushing chapters for tremendous number of growth now. Pankaj, so I am already a 200 member chapter which we touched last week, and very proud to say that that was a milestone. Now our vision, very clearly, which I made, is 290 members by 2031. So that's the vision I have. Definitely, I want to continue launching new chapters. So we are going to launch minimum of 2 chapters this year. Target is same. One we launched somewhere between April and May. Another we launch in October and November. So that's a very fair kind of target we have kept for ourselves. At this very moment, 2 of my launch ambassadors are working on it separately. One is at a very beginning stage, and another has their first information session on 4th of March. So right before I came to India, that's the meeting I had and I was sharing with Bijay. And this chapter will run their meeting on Fridays. So that's another new change which we want to adopt. So run the meeting on Friday. That's the new normal of Dubai, as Bijay correctly said. Let's adopt the new normal. And that is our focus. Relationships, and rather, consolidate, work more closely, create value for members, and ensure that new members become your family, not by the push, but encourage. And language and choice of words. Whenever I notice anyone using only, no, we need to push them. I say, I'm sorry. Push, not the right word, not the right mentality. We need to encourage them. We need to handhold them. And when we do that, we will be more successful. We can push people out. You cannot push people inside. Right? That's my simple way of learning and going forward.
Absolutely.
Thank
The
you.
word is so important. Totally agree with you on that. What about yourself, Amit? what's your vision you set in mind for your region for this year?
Again, as I said previously, a young region, we are just 3 chapters. So one is to consolidate the chapters which I have. One of them is going through a restructuring thing. So first we have to consolidate that, and we want to add 2 more chapters. As I said, we look at 5 chapters this year. The 4th is under formation. So we're looking at 5 chapters, reaching a mark of 200, at least in the region of North Dubai for this year. I hope I can follow Pankaj and reach somewhere with his inspiration, what he's been doing in his region. He had a lovely social, which I also attended. Thank you, Pankaj, and it was very inspirational for us to be there. And I hope I can follow the path and do something like that. Yes, the most important thing is building relations, generating referrals, and getting business for every member. So I'm now trying to tell my DNA that you're not just about to go teach and come or just impart knowledge. It is about getting them that experience and getting the real feel of BNI by getting them actual business and actual transactions. So we have to live with the vision of BNI. We should follow the structured agenda. We should build the relationships. It should generate referrals. And finally, if everyone gets business, other things of retention, staying, all that will follow. If I am getting good business from somewhere, I make sure that I'll be a part of it and I should enjoy doing it. So I want that culture of getting business for everyone and building relationships and making referrals. If we do the steps right, the outcomes would be the desired outcomes. Hopefully, that's my thing to my DNA, to my LTs, that each one of you are responsible for delivering the BNI commitment to the members. So our vision is 200 members doing lots of business, higher seat values, good relations, and yes, that's how we're going to look at being better together.
Absolutely, very rightly said. And about yourself again, Bijay, what is your vision you've set in mind for the remaining chapters and the regions out here in UAE for this year?
So, I wear multiple hats, right? I'm, of course, wear the hat of co-national director, so overseeing the whole country. And then we also have our national-owned regions, Central Dubai and New Dubai. So let me start by the region vision that we have for these 2 regions that we manage. The first region, and this is the pioneer region out here, it's called Central Dubai. Yeah. And it's the strongest region right now. It has the largest number of members. It's got 5 chapters. And if you look at each of these 5 chapters, the average chapter size in the region is over 50. And we want to make sure that this region actually is a showcase region where each and every chapter is a platinum chapter and it stays above 50. So that is still work required because right now, a few of these chapters are hovering up and down 50. So we want to make sure they're comfortably well into the 50 plus mark and stay there. That's important because if you look at the seat values of these chapters, they're very, very strong. So that's the vision as far as Central Dubai goes. All of the chapters in Central Dubai are in-person chapters. So it's also important for us to be able to offer a hybrid format for anybody in the region to want to have that option for participating online as well. So we're going to be launching an additional chapter there, at least for now, which will be hybrid. For New Dubai, this is a region which is coming up, a lot of work to be done. It's made up of relatively newer people in Dubai. If you look at the actual geographical area, people who kind of, Dubai is a growing city. I remember 17 years ago when we first came, it had a population of just over 1 million. Today, the population of the city is well over 4 million. And I'm told that by the end of this decade, it'll be well over 6 million. So people coming into Dubai, the most of the development that's happening is towards the new and South Dubai. So we want to have, and we think, the target market is much more younger. So we are focusing more on the online and hybrid chapters. And our vision is to have a team made up of younger members. And why I say young, I think they're much more tech savvy than certainly I am. I need somebody who can able to embrace the technology that's going to come our way to fully utilize the opportunities, especially with online and hybrid formats. So our vision is really to grow this region into more of an online and hybrid as opposed to in person. We're not saying no to in person, but the balance will be more towards that. So, two different regions with different sort of formats and vision. And as a country overall, I've just been to Abu Dhabi this morning, and really proud and happy to announce that we'll soon be launching our first chapter after quite a period of no activity in Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi is certainly a place to watch. There's a lot of activity, and we want to have BNI firmly established there. And in addition to Abu Dhabi, there are opportunities in other Emirates as well. So Sharjah is another one which I think it's time that we did something. We had attempted something with Amit a few years ago, and pandemic hits. Obviously, things got disrupted. But I think Sharjah is another emirate with opportunity. And then looking beyond Sharjah, actually, we also identified a couple of prospects in Ras Al Khaimah. So we actually see in the longer term growth nationally in other emirates. So how is it going to happen? It is going to be franchising as well, identifying the right partners in this region. And I see that 3 to 5 years down the line, we can actually have a community of at least over 2,000 BNI members. And just imagine, right now we're on the verge of crossing the 700 member mark. That's going to happen very soon. And if we multiply that threefold, just imagine the kind of community that there'll be out there and the business opportunities. Because one of the big things that I'm also hearing, the strength in each chapter is within the chapter, of course. But we also see a lot of cross-chapter activity. And there's a lot of business for everybody. So can you imagine when you have a community of givers and leaders of 2,000 plus across the whole country, how much potential that can have, and the contribution that we make towards the GDP of the country, I think then becomes significant. So that's my vision. And, we have amazing partners like Pankaj, like Amit, the whole DA team. Raki, you've been with us for a while. And I think together we can really make this not just better together, but the best dream team that we can have.
Of course, very rightly said. Thank you so much for sharing that, Bijay. And of course, you rightly mentioned that for this year. Do you have any vision, or that is what you've mentioned for the next 3 years? Where do you see it going forward?
Yeah, like I said, we're not going to hit 2,000 this year. No, we'll definitely cross 1,000. That will be the vision, at least for 2022. If you heard what Pankaj and Amit had to share, and then the plans that we have, and with Abu Dhabi taking off this year, we certainly see an opportunity for us to cross 1,000 member mark. It's pretty ambitious, but I think it's very possible. And then over the next 3 to 5 years to literally double that to 2,000 plus. That'll be the big vision, Raki.
Definitely. And I think you've already got two hands on your side, the right hand and the left hand, Amit and Pankaj, amazingly doing the work and growing the regions, and absolutely BNI UAE, 18 years or 19 right now, Bijay. It's been growing and we've been seeing that growth. So really hats off to all of you. And with that being said, thank you so much, all of you. It's a pleasure and an honor of mine to be here, hear about your stories and the success and the goals that you have in mind for the chapter and for the regions out here. Thank you.
Having said that,
Thank you, Raki.
I would say that me and Pankaj have a great mentor and the most experienced person who's one of the most awarded NDs in the world to guide us and take us forward. Thank you, Bijay, and thank you for trusting us with these responsibilities. Thank you, Raki.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bijay. Thank you, Raki.